Pool by Design Day 9, brought to you by Diego and Potencia Ventures. And in the last session, we left it at usually we have a goal that is growth, but we don't want to scare people, so we will say yes to everyone. That leads us, like Ulysses in this example, to frame the task as for everyone, all writing. The angle that they have is this minimalistic design, and now they're adding blogging features. A price that is high for serious writers, but that is not working for the bloggers, and a scope that is for any writer. So they are presenting themselves as a better writing tool. The subtext of that, when you try to do too many things, you end up not being great at anything. That's how they are perceived. We also say that you can just say yes to one. And the task framing, only novels, not other types of writing. The angle is minimalistic for novels, so it makes it easy for novelists. Where the price now works really well for this novelist, and the scope, if we put together the novels and the simplicity, is ideal for new novelists. So they can present themselves as a tool for new novelists. And the subtext of that, remember the idea of the inferred sacrifice. Like you are presenting yourself in a way that I will infer, hey, that is so narrow that you are saying no to people. That is the opposite of you are presenting it yourself so broad and boasting so much that you're exaggerating. I don't believe the exaggeration. I really believe when you are willing to say no to people. So the subtext is, yeah, you have to be really good for that. So even if several solutions work for me, I need something to choose one. And instead of the ultimate writing app that is not telling me anything, now look at this. Now compare them. Design for new novelists. If you're a novelist and you see this, you have a place to start. It's like, okay, I see this one. You will use it and it works. You will choose that one. But we say, okay, but there is a conflict. If you are so narrow that you just target new novelists, how do we grow from there? And the way that we tend to look at this is, well, let's measure the market, right? Like how many novelists are out there? Now, I'm not gonna even go there in measuring markets at terms and stuff. I'm gonna look into the mental model that led us to ask this question. And that mental model says, if we present ourselves as for new novelists, only new novelists will find it compelling. So the question is that true? Is this mental model right? Let's see. With a different example, let's talk about watches. So let me introduce you the Apple Watch Ultra 2. It's a non-default, it's a new model with incremental improvements that it will be really tempting to present as a better watch. Look, this one is bigger, longer battery, harder screen, all these things. But Apple decided to go a different way. They are presenting it as a watch for adventure. And they are going hard with the adventure thing, like alpinist. Designed for alpinists, designed to take on a wide range of environments, elevations, and temperatures. It's a watch for extreme adventurers. More specifically, a watch for alpinists, as they present it. And now you can think, yeah, maybe the alpinist thing is a bit of a gimmick. Oh, please, go to the Apple event where they presented the version 1 and enjoy the trailer at minute 35 when they wrap up the story. And they talk for like 2-3 minutes in this trailer about like alpinists and people crossing deserts, like all in with adventure. In fact, the impact that had was so strong that when I was thinking about an example for extreme presentation, it was easy. I still remember, like that watch for alpinists. Like that was incredible. I remember this 1 year later. I don't remember what I ate yesterday. So imagine the impact. So if we present ourselves as a watch for alpinists, then only alpinists will find it compelling, right? Like, let's see. So let's go to Amazon, where obviously not a lot of people will go to buy Apple Watches, but they're gonna give us some data where we can compare the different models. Where we have the cheap one, the Apple Watch SE, 200. The default one, the Series 9, double the price and then the discount, so 400. And the Ultra 2, double the price again, 4 times the SE. So they give us some data here, like 300 bought last month. It's like, okay, so we expect a lot of this, maybe less of this, and very, very, very few of this. We will believe, yeah, this is the classic. We release it and it's more like for a positioning of the brand as technologically advanced, but they're not gonna sell a lot of them. Well, let's see. 200, okay, makes sense. 200 here. What's going on? Like, it seems like maybe not only alpinists, because we will expect like, I don't know, 10, 50. So I checked the reviews. Let's see who is buying this thing. I couldn't find any alpinist, but I found that it's an adventurer. Like, hey, it kept track of my dive time like a champ. It's like, good for you. And then you start finding like, I'm 72. My version of Extreme Exports is walking my dog 3x daily. Okay. He loves it. Or the excellent waterproof features takes away my worry when I wash my hands. And the fact that battery is so long avoids worry about frequent charging during extended flights. So it seems like the alpinist thing is just understood like broadly. So it seems like this is not true. Not at all. Therefore, this question is completely irrelevant. Forget about measuring the market here because this doesn't apply. Let's see the same for riders, right? To see if it's the same or it's different. So it's an app for new riders, compelling only to new riders. And we have a Scrivener that is the best novel writing software out there, as people are saying. A tool for novelists. And then we find other people talking like, hey, perfect for creating large, complex documents. Yeah, makes sense. That is like a novel. But it continues. And making ebooks. And it continues. And she starts talking about how she creates lead magnets, white papers so people can download them, dossiers, manuals. That is not a novel. So if you're Ulysses, instead of going for a better writing tool where people don't really see the value of that, and where already the market is pulling in a specific direction, this is an elegant alternative to Scrivener. Go for a tool for new novelists where you are a perfect fit for these people because you know this. Any company now writing documents that want to publish, all of them are new novelists. They don't know how to use this complex software. So this is kind of like a stretch here. It will be a perfect fit here. So what's going on? Why people don't follow instructions? It's like, hey, this is for alpinists, and they use it for anything else. Remember the model. You will learn about a product from an interaction. You will read between the lines. You will not understand things like all in an explicit, strict way. You will read between lines. You will do your interpretation, and then you will achieve a positioning. So what happens is when you present yourself as a better writing tool, you have to explain why you are better. So you talk about the feature A and how good you are at that, and B and C. And that has a problem. That is called the laundry list effect. That is, when for you to back an argument, you need a ton of stuff, like a laundry list of reasons, it's always understood as bullshit. It's like, yeah, usually when something is important, it has only a big, strong reason for that. Even if in reality there can be more than one. It's not how we understand things. It's you look desperate trying to give like 20 arguments just to back the initial claim. Therefore, it's perceived, it's read, understood as another writing app that tries to do everything, where it's going to have some pros and some cons that I need to study, and the same for the other apps. So you end up falling into the bucket of the positioning bucket, another writing app, and we will see. Or you present yourself as a tool for new novelists. That's it. And what happens is that what you infer out of that is, okay, if this is for new novelists, it has to be simple to use, right? If not, it will not be for that. It will also be great to deal with long, complex content. That maybe it's a novel or maybe something else. I will connect the dots. I'm inferring all of this. And of course, yeah, it has to be great exporting this material in different formats. Therefore, yeah, only with this sentence, you infer that and go to, yeah, this is the best, the go-to to write our company books. This also works for watches. If you say you are the best smartwatch, then you have to back up that claim. Yeah, because we have the longer battery and a harder screen and easy to access buttons, or you can present yourself as a watch for alpinists. That's it. And then what do you infer from here? Well, this guy's gonna be outside for a really long time, so the battery has to be really good. The screen is gonna be incredibly hard. And I mean, you are in the middle of the mountain and it's snowing, like the numbers are gonna be big, the buttons are gonna be big, it has to be like great to be used with gloves. So it's gonna be really accessible. Now, look at this. To explain our features and why our features is great, it's much better to just say this one sentence than to actually explain all the features. And this is the key idea. When you explain them all, is the laundry list is not working. You go for this, they infer, and you just remember that, yeah, this has to be the best one because it works in these extreme conditions. So, if you want to be perceived as the best for a specific, even broad task, don't present yourself as the best for that broad task plus the laundry list of reasons. Find a single concept. Using tabs, as we saw the other day, that give us all these different approaches to finding that core idea. And then use an extreme presentation to communicate that. Now, with extreme, I don't mean like extreme exports or extreme conditions. Novelists are not that. I mean extreme as in far from generic. Really narrow thing, a really narrow concept that has like this really strong inference. Now, let's see the implications of this idea. We know that the mental model is not true, so the question is irrelevant. Instead, if we present ourselves as for new novelists, of course, new novelists will find it compelling. Great. And as we saw with the Apple Watch, a lot of other people will do that too. Other users that infer the benefits of the product due to the extreme presentation will find it compelling, but not only compelling. Think about how do you feel when you want to write that white paper and you're using like this better writing tool versus a tool for novelists. makes the job much more exciting. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm like a novelist here, and I'm gonna write this white paper for the company, but I'm using like this professional software. Makes it really exciting, more appealing to use, not boring like the other one. And as we saw with the watch, this is gonna make most of the sales. Yes, there will be some of this, but the key is here. That's the first point. And what about the spread? How people talk about this? So you go to a party with your thing on the wrist, and somebody asks like, what's that massive thing hanging there? It's the best smartwatch. Like, look, it has a great battery, harder screen, the laundry list. And your friend is gonna look at you like, I would say you overpaid for this, and you're trying to bullshit me with all these reasons, and you're not convincing me. The spread is really fragile. Not only the message for you to buy it, as we saw before, but now the message when you are trying to explain that to others. So word of mouth is going to be really, really fragile here. It all depends on your ability to do something with this and convince the other person that this is great. You can also answer the question, what is that massive thing here hanging in your wrist? It's like, it's a watch for alpinists. I like, ooh, that's awesome. Now I understand why it's so big. Tell me more about that. Single sentence that everyone will remember because it creates this really interesting story. And it's gonna impress the other people. They're gonna get it really quick. One of the problems of this is that the laundry list becomes this collection of randomly improved features. Because we were just improving things and making this new release of the product, it's lacking a narrative. And that's why it looks like discombobulated, like it's not holding together. Here, you have a clear story. You have a coherent product narrative that is like, yeah, it's for alpinists. This is why it's so big. And look, like the buttons are massive because it's designed to be used with gloves. It's like, oh, true. Like when you will be totally not in a mountain with your gloves, using it in the middle of the city, like, yes, exactly. And it's great. See the point, right? Also, we talk about, when looking at the diagnosis, how important it is to enter the conversation, to enter into this list of 10 best things or like people talking about you. But if you just release a smartwatch in 2024, when there are like 1 trillion in the market, how do you enter the conversation? Well, if you look at the list, yeah, Apple Watch Series 9, best overall. Why that? Because when you become the default solution and everyone is using it, and is perceived as the better well-rounded, then you become best overall because you are the default. But for everyone else, how do you enter the conversation? Okay, battery life, best Android, best affordable. Look at this, best for outdoor adventurers. They made themselves their niche there, and they entered the conversation. And probably this category didn't exist before them, but now they are part of it. And there is also something really interesting. When you create a niche like this, there is only room for one in that category. So do you know who is not in that list? The Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. Your guide to adventure. The smartwatch designed for adventurers. It seems that they read my book. But they were late to the party. And this is the interesting thing. Use tabs. Find this niche that is exciting and communicates all these interesting things, and be the first there. And everyone else gets out. Now we have this problem that everyone is copying our features, and now it's really hard for us to differentiate because functionally we look exactly as the others. Even if we innovate, they come behind us. Okay, now you have a solution for that. They copied everything. You can't copy more than this. but they are out of the conversation. So let's recap all these implications. If we present ourselves as for new novelists, you will get the new novelist. Why? Because it's built for them and it's clearly different, one of a kind, you will get them. But they will be like 1% of the sales, because what is going to happen is that you have all these other users that will find it like really exciting. So a lot of additional unexpected feeds. Plus you enter the conversation with really robust spread. So every person that talks, you know that because they just have to remember that single sentence, that it will impress the other person, like that word of mouth is going to work really, really well. Where there is only room for one in that conversation. So remember like this important element of who does the interaction. This presentation works really well when the interaction is from us as a company, but it also like now it's getting to others that are talking, that adds more credibility. So we are building a lot of trust. Because it's not only us saying that. Look at the other list, like the best for outdoor adventure. They just repeated what we told them, how we presented ourselves. And because there is just room for one of a kind, nobody else there. And because we have all these people talking, they will reach to many more of these that will be inspired by this thing. And this will make the bulk of our sales. Now, of course, it's not all like as easy as it seems. The intuition that we have, that mental model that if you say this is only for novels, people will use it only to write novels, that is called functional fictionness. Now, we have to make sure that that doesn't become a problem, right? And that's kind of the fear that we have. We saw that there are tools to solve it. For example, Audio-Technica. They have the M50X that are like monitor headphones to be used on a studio. You will think that people will only use them on professional mixing studios because that's what they are designed for. Which, as we know, sometimes you have functional fictionness and the thing stays in the studio, and sometimes it leaves the studio. And here you have IGN's 70 million, IGN's very own Damon Hatfield using them in a podcast. And like him, a lot of other like YouTubers. This person made me buy these headphones. Because they look great. For professional studios, like, okay, that was really interesting. They have to, I infer a lot of things. They have to sound great. They have to be really robust. All the features that I'm going to need and more, like, it's perfect. That's what happened. And Audio-Technica became like really stressed with the situation because they thought, wait, we are selling this thing as a studio headphone, but maybe like other people come to the website that they don't realize that they can use it also for other things. That is what was happening. So they went, they panicked. And suddenly in the homepage, they have our most popular studio and gaming, and every day, like, yeah, everyone uses this. Don't do that. So if you believe that you're going to have a problem with functional fictionness, use tabs to navigate that. How can you change this without looking totally desperate here and losing the strength of that presentation? Headphones for sound professionals. Now you are going for the people, not for the place where they are used. So you remove this problem with functional fictionness here while you don't look desperate. So let's see the process to achieve this, to go from maybe our existing presentation that is broader, like this better writing tool, to a tool for new novelists, something that has this power to get and inspire these people. Step 1, anti-fragile discovery, that is looking at the people that is already using it. We are going to look for two things: remember Loom, people using it for complete different things, like not slightly different use cases. No, it's like a complete different thing. Or these narrower cases, like the white papers. Not because we are gonna change better writing tool to write white papers. We know that that is not the way to do it, but just to inspire the next step. We will start working on iterations using tabs and then condensing everything into a single USP that could convey all these important things, like presentation where you can infer all these attributes as like, okay, it's built for that and they are great and it's exciting, all these things. You will choose one. Now, that one can be wrong, right? So we have to experiment with that. We don't want to break everything that we have. We want to do this to go to a better place without breaking what we have. So we will do low-risk experiments based on qualitative feedback. Why? You can't look at numbers when all of this is about perception. You have to talk with people. So that's why they are high qualitative feedback experiments. And one of the key goals here is checking that functional fictionalness is not happening. If you tell them this is a headphones for a studio and a studio only, and you don't see anybody like trying to use it for something different, is getting like functionally fixated, okay, then you will start playing with that presentation until it inspires without blocking. And we will not get it right the first time, so we will iterate here. And when we have it, when we see how they pull it, well, it inspires them, the inference is really strong, then we will align everything. We will align the product with the features, the language, the messaging, and all the cues like the price and the look and feel, everything, so it tells the story. Think about the Ultra Watch. Like the whole story is around like Alpinist. Not even general adventurers. It's like they put a lot of emphasis on the Alpinist because they know that explains the whole product really, really well. And we talk about anti-fragile discovery in these two talks and about the tabs here. So let's talk a little bit about HQF, high qualitative feedback experiments. Two parts. We need a way to test the new presentation without any risk. We don't want to break what we have. We want to see if there is a better place for us. And we want to see if it works. Qualitatively, no A/B test, no click numbers, conversion numbers, forget about it. This is all about the mind of the customer. We need to talk with them. How can you present yourself without risk? Okay, you can do things like having a pitch, alternative pitch of your product that you will show only on meetings. Or maybe if a pitch is not enough, a functional prototype that you're showing in that meeting, just one person is seeing that. Or an alternative version of your website that is hidden and that you activate for some people only. Or you can do what Justin TV did. They released Twitch TV. Based on their insight, it was like, okay, let's create something new and let's see how it goes. And if it fails, it's not going to affect the core. As you can see, all of these have different degrees of visibility from everyone, but not connected to us, to limited. But in any case, very low risk for the core business. And then we have to learn from this. You can show it to people and get a live reaction. See what they understand. Hey, I just showed you this. What would you expect this thing has? Like, what are you inferring here? You can also launch it in these two ways and then talk with the people that sign up to see like what attracted them. Who are they? How are they using it? Or you can just throw any of these to a community, a group, on Product Hunt or Reddit, and see how people react and how they start using it and what they start saying, what is the conversation, and then try to talk with them. So, high touch feedback to understand that. And with this process, now we can make sure that the bet that we are making here, it holds. When it holds, then we can align. And the conflict that we talked at the beginning, well, now we know the answer. If you want to reach this big market, we know that you can't go for a better writing tool with the laundry list. It's not going to work. You want to go for a tool for new novelists without any fear of this is going to be too narrow, because if you avoid functional fixedness, yeah, you will have some new novelists and a lot of other people here, and great spread. That is going to build trust. That is going to make you like the default. And then suddenly everyone likes to wear alpinist watches and you are the default there. So if you want to remember this whole thing that I told you, it's easy. People don't want a better writing tool. They want a tool to write novels and use it for everything but writing novels. Because remember, we are talking about presentation. It's not about who you are. You can have two people. They're the same person, same product, but different presentation. And only one of them is exciting. One of them is attractive. You can infer a lot of things. Only one of them is a superhero. Thank you very much.